here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with a 12x12 layout. Now, I wasn't going to film this, and then after I'd made my mixed media background, I changed my mind. So, unfortunately, you don't get to see me paint my background, but I painted it using a mix of acrylic paint from Dilutions and Kaisercraft. So, yeah, I just did stripes, nothing fancy, very basic actually, but I was really happy with the colours and the way it mixed with this kit. So I am using a Kitaholics kit. Now I don't know the month that it came out in, but I actually won this kit in it might be the January kit actually, because I won it in the Australia Day online crop that they had, which is the 26th of January. They had an online crop that weekend and I participated and I won this kit. So that was exciting. I'll make sure I leave a link to Kitaholic kits down below. Jess is on the design team, so you may have seen her share some of those layouts that she's created for them, although they don't go up on our channel, so you may not have seen them, but she is on the design team. So make sure you go and check them out if you like. They're an Australian kit club, and I used to be on their design team quite a few years ago, and Steph's lovely, so I will make sure I link that down below. So this kit had mainly 1 Canoe 2 Willow collection, but also a little bit of Heidi Swap, is it honey and spice, something like that, as well as a few other little bits and pieces, a couple of Kaisercraft things. Yeah, and it was a really lovely kit, so I was excited and I was doing my best to kill it, and I was actually participating in another online crop for Easter that Kitaholic Kits did, so this was an entry into that, and I think this was a challenge. I think it was an alphabet soup challenge, and you sort of had to spell out a word and use the things that that word kind of corresponded with. Can't remember what they were right now, but yeah, I think paint was one of them. So yeah, so that's what I was doing, but I'm just really happy with how this layout came together, so I thought I would film it and put it up on my channel and show you guys. So I trimmed down my white cardstock background and I'm adding that onto a 12x12 piece of pattern paper. I think that was one of the ones from the Heidi Swap collection. And then I have this family photo of my side of the family taken at Lincoln's first birthday party, which his birthday is on the 22nd of January, and this photo was taken a few days before that. I think we might have had his party on, say, the 17th, somewhere like that. It was his first birthday. He doesn't really know. So that's what I did. I took that photo, and it's a good photo, but it was, what I will say, it was the best photo of the bunch. So it's not a perfect photo. Lincoln's not looking, Tom's not looking, Jack's not really looking either. Unfortunately, the sun was sort of behind our photographer, so we were looking into the sun. So the kids were having a lot of trouble because they obviously had to squint and they didn't want to look into the sun. So that was fun. But we got a photo. This was the best of a bad bunch, really. But it is a nice photo. We don't get that many family photos of us, so it was nice to get one with my parents and then Jess and Matt and the boys and Danny and I and Link. So yeah. Now I fussy cut these flowers. They were also from the 1 Canoe 2 Willow collection, and I decided to use those on this layout with, so I think now I'm remembering my 5 items. So I used family as my word, so that's 6 items. Paint was one of them, fussy cutting was one of them, frames was one of them, texture was one of my prompts, stamping was one of my prompts, and mist. There you go, they're my 5. So these frames were in the Willow ephemera pack, and funnily enough, I actually got 2 of this sort of pinky coloured one. You were only supposed to get 1, but obviously yeah, I accidentally got 2 in my pack, so that worked quite well. I could add 3 frames to this layout, and I'm layering those up amongst the flowers, and then I'm going to add a butterfly in each of the clusters as well. So I'm sort of taking the frame areas to be the clusters, even though obviously my florals are going across the page in a diagonal, as well as a little cluster in the bottom right of the photo. But I'm kind of going with the frames being the clusters, I suppose. So I am going to start sticking. Now I do edit some of this part out, but I wanted to leave this next bit in to show you how I'm adding the texture to my layout. So I am sticking down, starting with this frame in the bottom left corner, and I'll work my way up. And then for my texture, I'm actually going to add some linen twine. So I cut off a bit of twine and I'm wrapping it up kind of to peek out from behind this floral and frame section, and I do that to each of the framed areas. So I'm adding some twine behind it, just some linen twine or thread, and I'm sticking that back down, and that is what I'm using as my texture. So I'll just edit the rest of the sticking down, but I wanted to leave that part in so that you could see how I've added that texture and made it, incorporated that into the layout. And then I'm sticking my photo down flat, and then through the power of editing, everything is now stuck down. So some things have popped up on foam, some I've stuck down flat, and now I'm going to add another butterfly into each of the clusters, and I'm using, I think there was 3 butterflies in the sticker sheet, so I'm adding those in as well. So I'm adding one of those into each of the clusters as well. And then I'm pretty sure from here, I'm considering how to do my stamping. Oh no, I'm going to do my title. So my title is Annual Scott Family Photo. So I've stuck that down using a rose gold thicker with a white foam background. And then I've got in the sort of square green thickers, I've got Take 49, just to remind myself that it took a lot of photos to get to one good one. So that was fun. Now I'm just thinking about my stamping. Now I cheat a little bit from the prompt perspective. I don't love stamping on scrapbook layouts, so I pulled out a date stamp. I do have a One Canoe 2 one that has the higher dates, but I don't know where it is currently. I'm moving my scrapbook around and I've misplaced it temporarily. So this is the Becky Higgins Project Life one, which I think stops at like 2018. So I've just put Jan 17, which was the date that this photo was taken, and I just stamped off a couple of times as well. And I used I think it's called Blackberry Bliss ink from Stampin' Up, which kind of matched the paint that I have in the background. Oh, sorry about that. And yeah, so that is a little bit of cheating from the stamping prompt perspective, but still, I actually really like the way that it looks. And I think I'm going to go back through and stamp the date on all of my layouts that don't have a handwritten date. I always date my layouts, but usually I do it by hand. So I'm adding some mist splatters, which was another one of my prompts, and I'm using a kind of, I think it's called blush, rose, blush, it's called blush. Heidi Swap Colour Shine, and then I have another Heidi Swap Colour Shine called Raspberry in just a little mini, and I'm adding that as well because again they go really nicely with the colour tones of the paper and the paint background. And then I'm pretty sure I'm done, and I'll show you some close-up photo at the end, and then we're all finished. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will link to Kitaholic kits in my description box, and also I'll link to Kitaholic Kits and our socials. So we have an Instagram account, and that will be down the bottom as well. If you're not already subscribed, we would really appreciate the support. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. All right, guys. Bye.